Hey everyone, welcome to Pipes, Tobacco, and Whiskey. So today we're going to do a Pipe Toys edition, and I want to talk about something that I've been using for about the last year, and it's this Briarville pipe stem oxidation remover. This stuff is really good. Now I know there's a lot of products out there that say that they're going to clean up your vulcanite or your ebonite stems, but this stuff is wonderful. So it comes in 8-ounce bottles like this. You can get it at tobaccopipes.com. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It was like $15 a jar or something like that. And this stuff you can use over and over and over. It's like, I've had this for about a year now, and I think I've gotten at least 12 usages out of the same bottle. So it's really good. Now what you're going to need for this, for the cleaning part of it, is of course you're going to need the fluid there. You're going to need some magic erasers. I got the Walmart brand. You can get whatever you want. You're going to need some rags to be able to clean up with. You need a container of some sort to put the liquid in and let your pipe stem soak, and then a little bit of water to get the erasers. You're also going to need a buffing wheel, and we'll talk about that as we go along. But all of those things, and you can get this done in, depending on how many stems you have, probably a couple of hours. You can get this taken care of, and like I said, it works terrific. All right, so what I've done is I've taken a few stems that need some cleaning. These pipes are normally my outside pipes. I smoke them outside, so I also keep them outside, and they tend to oxidize a little quicker because of that. But they've been sitting in this solution for about 17 hours. The instructions say that you can do it anywhere from 2 to 24 hours. I've let them soak for up to 36 hours before, and it's not hurt the stems at all. As a matter of fact, I think the longer that you leave it in here, the more oxidation you're going to pull out of it. All right, so these have been sitting in there for a while. Now it's time to kind of remove the oxidation from them before I shine them up. So that's where the magic erasers come in. You're going to take one of these magic erasers, and usually what I'll do, guys, is I will cut it in half because I don't necessarily want to use the entire one for one pipe. So I'm kind of a miser, and I get my money's worth. So I'm going to dip the magic eraser in the water a little bit, squeeze out some of the extra fluid, and I'm going to get started on one of these pipe stems. Now let's take a look. This is a Peterson pipe stem, and you can kind of see all the oxidation that has been building up on that thing. You can see the part that goes in the stumble. It's nice and dark. But this part that's been exposed to air and sunlight is definitely needing some work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my magic eraser. This requires a little bit of elbow grease. So don't be afraid to really get into this. And I'm just going to start scrubbing the heck out of these pipe stems. Really aggressively. Now you can see that it's starting to take off some of that oxidation on the magic eraser, but look, already we're starting to see some results on this pipe stem right here. And it's actually, this one's pretty good. There's no pits in it or anything like that. It's kind of smooth, so this is going to be a really good one to clean up. Let's do a little bit more. And some stems are going to be more challenging than others to clean simply because of all the grooves and curves and little intricate designs that your pipe maker may put into the stem. This happens to be a P-lip, so right there in that P-lip area, it's tough to get into the crevices. You just got to work it, get it as best as you can. Eventually you're going to put it on the buffing wheel, and that's going to help you take some of it off as well. But I want to get as much as I can with this magic cleaner here. See how that's coming out? It's really looking pretty good. Do the bottom part here. And you may go through a couple of these magic cleaners, and that's why I use the generic ones. They do just as good, but they're much less expensive. So when it starts looking like this, I can switch to another without worrying about going through them all and spending a bundle. And you can repeat this process as many times if you need. If you are at this stage right here and you decide, well, it's really not coming as clean as I thought, throw it back into the oxidizing liquid and let it sit for some more. And then you pull it out and do the same process again. All right, so this is, I'm going to do, for sake of time, I'm going to do this later. I'm going to finish it up later, but just to kind of let you see, I would normally spend a little more time on this because there's a little bit right here, a little bit right here that I haven't removed, but I kind of want to show you. So when I'm done with this video, I'll go back and do some more, but usually I spend about 15 minutes on each pipe stem. Really work it hard to get that oxidation off. I think you're going to be surprised as to the outcome. We're at the point now where we can go to the buffing wheel. Now, sometimes, depending on how heavy the oxidation was, I may use 3 different types of compound to get it polished out, or I may use 2 types. Since this one came clean pretty easily, I'm going to use 2 types, and I'll show you what I'm going to use. The first type that I'm going to use is this white diamond. And I ordered this on Amazon. They're all over the place. Just type in white diamond compound, and you'll see whole bunch of different types. And I'll put a little bit on my polishing wheel right here. Not a lot, doesn't need a lot, but just enough to kind of get it. Now, the thing to remember is that white diamond is taking material away. So when you're buffing, you want to lightly apply pressure. You don't want to really get into the wheel because you're going to be taking a whole more than just the oxidation off the stem. You're going to be taking actual stem with it. So any compound that takes things away is a light buff. Anything that is applying, like carnauba wax, you're applying that, you can get a little harder into the buffing. So we're going to do this and put a little bit of white diamond on there. I see a spot that I want to polish out just a little bit more on my P-lip. At the very tip, I didn't get that too good. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, hey, Tom, you've got stuff on the inside as well. How do you get that stuff out? Basically, I'm just going to rub a pipe cleaner through it quite a few times to get anything that's inside of it. But usually, inside is not the problem. Usually, most of your oxidation happens on the outside of the pipe. Okay, so we've put some white diamond on here, and now we're going to get after it. Make sure you hold this nice and firm because this wheel is not an adjustable rate, so which means it's turning at the same rate all the time. It will catch the pipe stem and throw it clear across the yard. So you need to make sure that you're holding on to it pretty good. Here we go. And I'm not pushing very hard. I am lightly applying some white diamond on there. And what this is doing is this is actually removing more of the oxidation. We're not finishing a product here. We are actually taking away some oxidation. So like I said, remember that as you're buffing. You don't want to apply a whole lot of pressure. How much white diamond should you use? Well, that's a good question. About every minute or so, I'm going to apply just a little bit more as I go along. Now, as you buff, it's going to leave some residue. Do you see this residue right here? Don't worry about that. We're going to remove that when we get over here on the other side of the wheel. Now this is step one of the polishing that I'm going to be doing. Step two will be with carnauba wax. Alright, that was a very light buff. I'm going to go over here to the side that doesn't have any kind of compound on it. I'm going to try to remove all of this. And already you can see how that is starting to brighten up pretty good. This P-lip has a little crevice over by the button. Over by the button has a little crevice that's kind of hard to get to, and what I'll do with that is I'll probably take a towel or a rag and clean it manually. Try to get in the corners as much as I can. Again, I'm not pushing very hard. I'm letting the wheel do all the work. Not so bad. Much better than it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next step, I'm going to wipe this down with a cloth. Try to get as much of that diamond off of there as I can. Make sure your cloth is just soft. You know, sometimes I'll use a t-shirt, sometimes I'll use a microfiber. This is an old kitchen towel that we don't use anymore. That's been used a bunch of times and it's pretty soft right now too. So already we're seeing some good results with that. Now, the next thing is to add a layer of carnauba wax to really give it a nice luster. So I've got a different wheel that I use for the carnauba wax. By the way, I got this buffing wheel off of Amazon too, and I think it was less than 50 bucks. So pretty much everything that I'm using right here, except for the oxidation remover, I found on Amazon. Pretty convenient. And if you're a Prime member, you probably get it the very next day. I should get money for
Amazon should sponsor you.
Yeah, promoting Amazon. All right, we're going to do the same thing with carnauba wax. You can get all of the carnauba wax on Amazon as well. Vermont Freehand sells a lot of this stuff too, so you can probably get what you wanted from them if you want to use exclusively someone that is a pipe person. Now I'll put more carnauba wax on here than I did the white diamond. Because remember, with carnauba wax, I'm adding stuff. With the white diamond, I was taking away stuff. So if I'm adding stuff, I want to put a little more on there. All right, let's get this stem and let's put some carnauba wax on it and see what we can do with it. If you're doing this for the very first time, you haven't tried it very often, use use less force than what you think you need. You can always go back and do more, but you can't add more. So start soft, start light, and work your way to where you need. I've done this several times, so I'm kind of familiar with how much pressure I need to add as I'm buffing. All right, it's got a little bit of wax on there. Let's see, polish it up and see what it looks like. I know you're saying, Tom, that's the same wheel you used with the white diamond. There's not enough on here to really worry about. And afterwards, I'm going to wipe it down with a cloth anyway. Again, make sure you're holding on to this stem nice and firm because it will shoot right out of your hand. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is take the rag again and wipe it down. Nice and firm. I might not need to do this one again. Did such a great job on it. I don't like to brag, but I do because I'm really good. All right, let's take a look. You remember what it looked like before. Now, this is afterwards. That looks good. And I'll probably take some time to kind of get into the corners a little bit more, get inside the stem a little bit more. But that brightened that stem up quite a bit. Now the next step would be to maybe do this accent. You could do that with white diamond as well. I'm just going to put it on the carnauba wax. Some people like that patina that's on it, and they'll leave it alone. Hey man, that's up to you. I try to keep my pipes looking as clean as possible. You gotta be careful with this stuff though, because it's really not silver. As you start buffing it, it'll start to turn a little bit gold like a brass. So you don't want to buff it too hard. It's a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Looks good.
If you got any questions, guys, don't hesitate to ask questions underneath the video. I'll be glad to share anything I can with you. Pretty easy. 15 minutes and I've got a pipe that's looking brand new again. You guys, if I can do it, you guys can do it, that's for sure. All right, there you go. Guys, hope you have a great week. Don't forget, make all your piping moments count. We'll see you next time. I swear to God, you look like one of the guys that's in one of my groups. His name is Tyler Edwards, and he lives in Amarillo. Met him up at the Chicago show. He follows the show. He looks exactly like you, dude. He's a little taller, but that's about it.
Hey. Well, he's a good-looking dude, I guess, huh?
Now that's an example of what happens when you don't hold on tight enough.
Yeah, that's why I did it. Just to show.